Today's look is we did a drive-by on the 27th of August 2022 at the Tyson's Corner, Virginia facility for Tesla. Now, I have to admit that some interesting things were learned, and we look forward to introducing you to those things today, along with a look at some other developments Tesla is experiencing. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the show, would like ideas on investing and trading Tesla, as well as classes, please join us on Patreon. We try at least once a month, but sometimes every couple of weeks to get to our local service facility, because it allows us to get a feel for what's going on with vehicles. Now, our science on this has been somewhat inefficient. The reason is that you have a giant company and you have one data point. So there are approximately 500 service facilities around the world, and the data flowing from each is obviously going to be different, but this gives you a chance, if you're not, let's say, in the DC area, to get a feel for this, the circumstance for Tesla currently. Now, I noticed in general, for this time of the year, we're a month away from earnings or the completion of the quarter. So Tesla has developed a process over time when there was only the Fremont facility, where what they would do is make a point of everything that was built in the first 6 to 8 weeks of the quarter were actually being shipped, mostly obviously to Europe or around the globe as needed. What then happened is Shanghai opened, so all of a sudden we started developing a process where vehicles would be shipped from Shanghai primarily to the European markets, and so that took the pressure off Fremont to therefore almost exclusively focus on shipping to the Americas, be it Canada, US, perhaps South. And so as a result, we saw a big change where there would often be very few cars at the front of the quarter be sold into the middle of the quarter. Now we have a more consistent, production and delivery of vehicles that you can see arriving to customers that are primarily US based. Now, we did see a slight change where when Shanghai was shut down, there were some cars being shipped to some of the Asian markets that were way behind, but now that's kind of ended. And we've seen a lot of video coming out of cars going by ship away, and that's partially Asia and that's partially Europe. As I drove up and looked at this facility, I'd have to say that the biggest notice that I had was sort of double the usual number of cars. So there, in every Tesla facility, there are kind of, I guess there's three groups of cars. One group is vehicles that are on repair. The second group is new vehicles that are being prepped for delivery. And the third group is vehicles that are there for test drives. And those tend to sit at the front of the dealership in terms of how things are typically structured. Now, I chose at the beginning to open this with sort of fixed images of the storage facilities for Tesla. The reason we focus on these facilities is the process is the cars come in from Birmingham, Alabama by truck. Once they arrive, those vehicles are offloaded from the trucks, and then all the shipping materials or the vehicles are put inside storage, because the paint is actually very sensitive to bird droppings or other issues in the first 60 days. So those vehicles are typically cleaned up, all the packaging removed, and then those customers get delivery of those vehicles, and they've primarily been in-house unless you have so much inventory that they're actually forced to store out. Now, we do see a few vehicles that are sort of out of the storage facility, which is a bit of a surprise because we're about 60% utilization of the 2 storage facilities that they have at this site. So overall, I'd have to say, based on the feel you get for the percentage of vehicles that are available for sale, one would have to say that Tesla's actually ahead of their production number plan for this coming quarter. Now, the great question is, are those numbers ahead of plan and ahead of plan by significant numbers? No way you can tell that, but it's clear that the facility on this new vehicle cell side are clearly not exceeding, or not way below, so the facility's picked clean. The other unknown here is weekends are that's basically Thursday through Sunday is the largest delivery period typically for new cars to customers, even though they can be spread throughout the week. So this video is from a Monday morning, and we got a chance to look in the garages and see what was going on. Another observation that we had from this trip is the fact that in the vehicle repair side of this, we've sort of gone bananas on Model Ys being in repair with very few Model 3s in the mix. Same thing when it comes to new vehicles being sold. Is this a surprise? No. A lot of Model Ys being sold. Not a surprise that they're coming in on whatever repair schedule might be in the offing. I would say that overall, it's kind of exciting to see a lot of cars there to be sold, because that means Fremont is meeting their goals of production, and it also means that we're getting good productive activity from possibly Austin in this process, because I expected to be somewhere in the 20 to 30% full zone, and we're closing on 60% here. So either Tesla is selling a lot fewer cars, or we're getting some nice production flow as part of the feeder from both Fremont and Austin. So I slowed the video down just a little bit. I did cutouts so you can actually look in the storage facilities more easily. So that's part of the video of what we did today. Overall, I would say it looked really great. The only other thing that I would say that was interesting that I saw was what you saw in terms of the pink vehicle. I'm pretty confident it was a wrap, because if you repainted it, that might affect the warranty. But, for those who enjoy pink, perhaps ladies who are doing that, I think it looked great. The one other note that I sort of picked out here was the fact that there's a Model X with the axle broken. And this for me was kind of interesting, not a surprise. The Model X is the heaviest vehicle, type of battery and amount of weight that that vehicle is carrying. So it was kind of interesting to see the type of repairs or issues that other customers are having. And in this case, a broken axle is a legitimate problem, and obviously a good idea to repair it. But I'd have to say, because it's such a heavy vehicle, I have to admit you might want to expect to see more situations like this. At any rate, that's our look at what the storage facility is for today. I'm going to move on to our health tips now. The health tip that I'd like to bring up today is the fact that we had a physical therapist that we met who gave us some suggestions relative to, I guess we have to call it urination, call it what it is. What she pointed out is that when people go on certain long trips, they try to evacuate or sort of force themselves to go to the bathroom. And what she pointed out is, if you keep doing that, it'll actually shift the schedule of when you go, and that can create a problem if you're doing this a lot. So her recommendation is figure out plan B on how to deal with finding places to go to the bathroom while you're on the road, but do not maintain the process of trying to force yourself to go prior to needing to do so, because that can have long-term implications. Again, I'm leaving our back specialist introduction item in, and hope you guys find that helpful, along with some calming ocean waves, as we typically do. We look forward to your comments on this. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Tschüss, au revoir, lehitrot, choda hafez, zdravstvuyte, ni hao ma, konbanwa, Japanese. And in Jamaica, we say enough respect, man. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and bye for now. What firm are you with, Mark?
It's Renew Physiotherapy.
Great. So, Mark, every day we do a different exercise, and just wondered what you recommend that people do every day relative to the back.
If you could only do one exercise, what I would do would be to put your hands on your back like this, do a back bend, nice and easy, 10 times.
Okay.
And that will counteract all of the bending forward that we do throughout the day, whether it's sitting at the computer, sitting in the car, bending forward to get things and pick it up. Even when we sleep at night, people tend to curl up and bend forward. Doing just this nice, easy stretch 10 times, 4 to 5 times a day will get your back healthy.
And your Renew Physiotherapy.
Renew Physiotherapy.
You also recommend the Cobra, where you're laying on your
stretch would be great, where you're laying on the ground and you push on up like this. And that'll help stretch out your spine.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mark.